On this episode of the John1911 Podcast, Wyoming allows grizzly bear hunts. Susan Rice's son is a trumper. Roseanne versus Keith Olberman. And the father of the Texas shooter says his son is the victim.
Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Marky and Freeze, and this is episode 98 of the John1911 Podcast. How's it going, Freeze?
It's going good.
Good. Literally, just as we go live to do a podcast, the office reaches out to me and they want an update on something. Hold on, let me say. I'm actually driving today. I'm actually heading out to the new range. I'm actually going to be Farmer Marky. I got to do some work in that hayfield to get some stuff cleaned up so our tenant farmer can, he can pull hay out of that field and not like unexpectedly, run his tractor and whatever he uses to make hay, over all this equipment we've got hidden in this grass. So I don't want to be buying this dude a tractor. So
that's what Farmer AAA's for.
Yeah, and it's what is today? Is today May 31st?
Yep.
So I mean, I know it's a lot of people. Maybe if you're like a farmer, you're like, man, it's pretty late to be pulling hay. But here's the thing: it's been so wet this year. No one's been able to to work much hay. So, like, as a matter of fact, it rained like a son of a bitch last night. So,
yeah.
Which was good for me because it gave me an extra day because I was busy with a bunch of stuff this week. So,
yeah.
Well, it's good to catch up and have a chat while I'm driving. I like driving and talking because it's what we do anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, we can't go into a whole lot of detail, but in relation to what we talked about last night, I don't want to name what the gun is, but the one that we found that was shooter grade last night, we were in. What dollar amount do you think I should step up to on that?
I would. Is that the one without a picture?
Yes.
0.
Don't. Okay. Okay. I mean, we're making a run at it because I figure if the description is accurate.
Okay. Look, for what it is, even if it's, even if it's garbage, it's still worth a couple $100.
That's what I'm thinking. So
honestly, sight unseen. Look, in this day and age, anyone who posts any type of an auction without pictures is either scamming, lying, or trying to hide the true condition of the piece. And that's not just with firearms. That's with anything. That's if you're selling a phone or a freaking hammer. Look, there's no reason why you can't have a decent, clear picture on your auction post. Zero.
And I will say this, and not in their defense, but this is some more information. So when you look at a guy like this or a listing like this, and you go, okay, what am I dealing with here? And then you find that the guy has 1 or 2 or 3 or 5 transactions and, he's new to the auction game. You're like, oh, something's wrong here, especially if the price is too good to be true or, they're red flags. But if you look at who these people are, they are a fairly big FFL, and they have thousands and thousands and thousands of sales. So I think maybe, either it was screwed up in a bulk upload or a relisting. Maybe there could be something up here with this auction where maybe it's an opportunity. And so I figure I'm throwing money at it. I can throw enough money at it that I'm willing to gamble on it, because everything we buy is shooter grade anyway, if we can help it. So,
yeah.
But
with that being said, the first,
don't say what it is, because you will blow this auction up.
No, the first auction you sent, I told you the price on it was just stupid.
Oh yeah, that was a local guy too. So
yeah,
Yeah. So, and that's fine. So, well, I'm gonna give you the number. Because I just arbitrarily chose this, not that there's a budget. I chose $350, and we're not up to 350 yet. So,
well, it's like this: sight unseen, even if it's, I mean, hell, truthfully, even if it's missing a few minor parts, that's still a good price at $350.
Okay.
I wouldn't go a penny over it though.
Okay.
Sight unseen.
I will say this: their description is fairly in depth, and they talk about, again, I can't go into the description either, but they go into specific details about this format of weapon, addressing this is good, this is good, this is good, this is good, this is the finish is whatever, but the action, things with the action, so they address it. And so if that's all correct,
well, yeah, but the thing
is,
missing
any parts
without a picture to match that description, you don't know if they're just bullshitting.
Yeah. So all right. So I guess we're going to be done opening up the podcast talking about a mystery gun that we can't tell anybody about, because I'm sure that's really entertaining. So that's super cool. So, so I don't even know where to begin on everything that's been going on. We still don't have the bulldozer, and look, it's raining right now. It just started raining again. We still don't have the bulldozer on the range. We're just, look, I haven't heard anything from the SWAT team on this at this point. I'm starting to doubt we're going to make July, for the SWAT team.
The truth is,
it's May 31st right now.
Look, the truth is, I don't really care about the SWAT team. I mean, I do, but when I say that, I can't care about. We can't rush this to try to fit a July date in with the SWAT team. I mean, it is what it is. We got to take it at the pace we have to take it at, and if July doesn't happen, it doesn't happen.
Yeah, right now I'm thinking it looks like I have no confidence at this rate that it's going to happen. The good news is it's been hot as hell. So it's been so hot, and there's been enough wind that things are drying out fairly quickly.
Yeah, that's a great thing. And if we get a window, maybe we can get something done. But July's rolling around quick, and the truth is, I don't want to try to push things and spend money and do shit that's not that we don't want to do, just to try to work this in. So that's why when I say I don't care about the SWAT team, it's not that I don't care about the SWAT team. It's just, it is what it is.
We're going to end up having to pick them up next year at this rate.
Yeah, so, and that's fine.
And that'll be fine. I just, and again, I didn't promise them anything beyond 400 yards this year. So, whatever.
Well, I mean, if they're willing to come out and play at 400 yards, it's still game on.
It is possible that we could fake 400 even now. We got 300 all day. I mean, not for the whole team all at once, but we've got 300.
Yeah.
Dude, I wanted to mention this because this came up while over the holiday, and we were semi-closed. The shooting in Texas, the dad of the student who shot at the school, he came out and actually said his son is the victim.
Sure he is.
And I'm just like, I mean, I guess I shouldn't be disappointed in Texas, because look, we shouldn't project stuff on Texas that, like, they're just as fucked up as the rest of the country.
Sure.
But the real problem here is the dad.
Yeah. Well, I mean, in on a certain level, the dad is right. The son is a victim, but he's a victim of his father, because the father's the problem. Just the fact that your son goes out and does something like that, and then you're like, oh, well, my son's a victim here.
That tells you everything you need to know about how this developed.
Exactly. So like I said, on one level, the dad is kind of correct.
Yeah.
But he's a victim of his own. He's a victim of his own upbringing with his father.
I just was like, I mean, I don't know. Look, there's always people looking for excuses to pass the buck. And maybe in the past, the media would never let stupid people talk. You know, when we were kids, the general rule was, you know, we're not going to put somebody on TV that is a total jackwagon. Because
I don't know, man. Yeah, you watch the local news, it seems like they always go out of their way to find the moron in the crowd.
Well, I mean, like in the 70s and stuff. Like, you know, I mean, I feel like the news, there's so much news now and so many channels and so many outlets. Any person with a heartbeat and drool coming out of his mouth, you know, they will stick a camera in his face and just let him hang himself. Mm-hmm. And, you know, it used to be maybe in the old days, they would not let family members of criminals on television to make the sympathy play. And maybe it's because the politics these days, because we're in this like victim Olympics. Everybody's a victim, and that's the only way you get, you know, like Rachel Dolezal. I mean, it's like this woman, she's so white. I mean, it's like if you subscribe to white privilege, which I don't, that's just Marxist ideology, just to undermine the society.
Yeah.
But if you subscribe to white privilege, Rachel Dolezal was so goddamn white that you needed sunglasses to look at her ass. I mean, and then she goes through all these machinations to be black, and then not only does she have to be black, she has to go and join the local NAACP, and then become the president of the local chapter, and then be the local rabble-rouser to talk about how we're being oppressed. And then after all of that happens, she commits welfare fraud.
Yeah. See, she is the new cruise missile.
Oh, yeah, she is. It's like the cruise missile Olympics. People like Rachel Dolezal and Georgie Zimmerman, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just these. We've got this whole society of people that have been taught that they're not responsible for anything that happens to them.
No.
And I just saw that, and I was like,
no, it's never your fault.
Never your fault. It's somebody else's fault.
Yeah.
Well, they're just going to have to do something about that.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kind of like the 1911 guy who gets a 1911 and there's something a little not perfect with it. And all of a sudden he starts talking about, it must be a Friday gun or a Monday gun.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, I mean, they're not that far off from each other.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll tell you what, the gun people listen to this don't want to hear that. That's the truth.
Yeah, it is.
Fix your shit.
Yeah.
You know, you're a gun owner. Man the fuck up and fix your gun.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it went bang and it didn't blow up. It ain't that bad.
Oh, well, you know, I bought a brand new 1911, and when I shoot it, it fails to feed the last round of the magazine every time. Okay, fix it. It's an easy fix.
Yeah.
I mean, it is. It's a simple fix.
Wow. I like the guys that are even like, you know, they get the scratch on the dust cover. You know, the dust cover on the slide. It's just like, oh my God. Hey, I want to talk about something. Okay. I don't know if you would be interested in doing this, but I wanted to run this by you. And I'm assuming it's not crazy money because it's not Alaska.
Okay.
Wyoming has apparently started allowing grizzly bear hunts.
Yeah.
Would you be interested in going on a grizzly bear hunt?
No. I mean, I would be fine with a grizzly bear hunt, but not in Wyoming under their. It's a lottery drawing.
They're all lotteries, dude. They're all fucking lotteries.
And it depends on where you go, and depends on what kind of bear you hunt. But it's a lottery drawing, and it can the ticket fee can be up to $4,000. I think it's like 400 to 4,000, depending on where. I don't know all the fine-tuned details. I was just reading about it briefly. And
okay. Well, I was curious how much it was going to be.
I know. I mean, no.
Okay.
I mean,
I'll tell you what.
I can do a lot of pig hunting for that kind of money.
Yeah. Well, can you eat grizzly bear? I don't know.
I mean, sure. Why not? I've eaten black bear before, so I mean, I don't see why you couldn't eat grizzly. It's not worth a crap, but but
that's what I'm saying. Is it a meat that people are like, oh yeah, grizzly's awesome, or is it like, yeah, whatever, it's okay?
No, I mean it's okay. I mean, you can make anything into hamburger or jerky,
Okay, yeah, all right.
I mean, but I've had black bear steaks that were okay. I mean, they weren't. I mean, I'd rather have an Angus ribeye, but I mean, it wasn't bad. It wasn't like it was shoe leather or anything. I mean, it was okay.
I thought. Well, the thing is, getting to Alaska and the hunts are so expensive in Alaska, and I didn't know what the price was in Wyoming. But I will say this: when I was in Wyoming a couple years ago hunting, and actually we might go back. I was in Montana, then we went down to Wyoming to visit. But we were talking to some people there in Wyoming, in Cody, and they were talking about how out of control the grizzly bear population was. How often they were having to shoot, people were having to shoot grizzly bears just in self-defense.
Yeah.
They were to the point they were like, no.
Well,
because it's crazy.
Yeah, no, and look,
and I mean, and I heard that, and I was like, this is going to be coming back. Grizzly bear's coming back because, this is too much.
Sure. I mean, look, I forget the number of Griz that they're losing every year due to, well, it's a combination. It's old age, and there's a certain percentage of them that they don't even really know why they died. It could have been anything. People killing them because they're attacked. Nuisance bears that that either the police or the wildlife management people have to take down. So look, the population has exploded to the point where they're losing X amount of Griz a year. So if that's the case, it's a smart move on Wyoming's part. It's like, okay, instead of having wildlife management or the police call the population, we'll gank some money out of hunters, let them take care of our problem. We'll make money in the process. It's a win-win. Everyone wins. The hunter wins. The state wins. The people who live there who get attacked by grizzly bears wins. Everyone wins. It's a good move.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
except the Safari Club never figured, or who? Not Safari. Who is it? The Rotary Club. Who's the big conservation? Like all the wildlife groups, they don't realize that once you take something off the endangered species list, it's time to manage them.
Yes, and look, managing wildlife takes on several facets, but once you successfully manage that particular animal and the population has grown in abundance, the next step is to manage the herd by culling it, and that doesn't mean
especially if they're killing people.
Yeah, exactly. Well, but also, again, I talked about nuisance animals. That's cattle farmers out there. Grizzly bears are attacking their cattle. That's their livelihood. Well, you know what? Grizzly bear comes down out of the hills and starts eating baby calves. That grizzly bear is going to get killed.
Yeah.
I mean, so, there comes a point in time where the population gets to the level where it needs to be culled to keep it in check. Now, do I believe that they're going to, in the next 5 years, just open it up? Hey, you buy a hunting license, you buy a bear permit, and anyone can go out and hunt. No, I don't think it's to that point. But, okay, that's fine. We'll issue, we'll do a lottery drawing. We'll issue so many tags a year. And whoever's lucky enough to win the lottery pays us the money. And then they get, actually, the way it's set up now is they tell them what area they're allowed to hunt, and they have, I think it's a 10 or a 15-day period. I mean, they tell you the dates you can hunt it, and that's it.
That's normal. They usually break it up by zone. If you're using an outfitter, they want to know what outfitter you're using, so they'll run the lotteries by zone or whatever parcel they break them up. And because they have a system already for that. I'll tell you the next thing that's coming that I've been hearing rumors about out there as far as they're going to have to start selling tags is the wolves. The wolf, I don't think they expected when they reintroduced those Canadian wolves out around Yellowstone.
Yeah,
they did not expect them to come back this fast.
You know what, though?
And I don't think the average city person realizes how big a wolf is.
Well, I'll tell you what, by introducing the wolf back into Yellowstone, the ecosystem has exploded. All these do-gooder, anti-hunting, people out there. Yellowstone was dying. They introduced the wolf, and within a 10-year period of time, the ecosystem in Yellowstone has reestablished itself. And I mean, everything. I mean, wetland, the beavers back in force, which means they're making beaver dams, creating wetland areas, which means the wetland birds are back. And I mean, the deer population has exploded. I mean, it's crazy. I watched this big documentary on this a while back. And I mean, just reintroducing one animal back into that area that literally was hunted to extinction in the Yellowstone area. By reintroducing them into that area, it just rebalanced the ecosystem. And I mean, and because now they have wetlands back, different type of vegetation's growing, and that's bringing the deer back. And it was really amazing. But again, with anything, just anyone from the South understands how kudzu was introduced. It was,
oh my God.
It was great when it first came in, but if there's no way to control it, it gets out of hand. It's the same thing with the wolves, Yeah,
half our listening audience has no idea what the hell you're talking about.
Yeah, but half of them do. Huh.
Yeah. Oh my God. We call that if you ever traveled down in the South and let's say you've been on the road and you saw an area with a bunch of looks like vines everywhere, overgrowing all the trees and overgrowing all the fence posts, and it looks like an alien plant invasion.
Yeah, if you see this big patch of vines that actually looks like a house, it's because there's a house underneath it.
Yes, and it's that Asian, crazy Asian thing. And the only thing that seems to stop it is the winter. That's why it doesn't move north. I don't think it survives the winter. So a lot of people in the north don't even know what the hell that is. So, but there's reports coming out of some of these places in Montana, Wyoming, and is it the caribou population or not the caribou, whatever it is, but they're entire herds are getting wiped out by these wolves. And it's even the hippies are starting to open their eyes to the idea of, we didn't really understand that all these apex predators, if they don't have something to hunt them, they kill everything around them. There's a reason why we killed all these predators off and we kind of settled the country.
Yeah.
I mean, we didn't intentionally set out to kill them all off. I mean, there was a lot of people were shooting stuff too much.
Yeah.
But especially in like the late 1800s. But it was, I mean, this shit will hurt you. There's all these animals that they'll put a hurting on you. I mean, there's a video. What was it like? There's a video not that long ago of a guy who he was in Africa somewhere, and he's looking at these giraffes, and he's up walking with them. Oh yeah, giraffes, you know, the circle of life, whatever bullshit little theme music they want to overlay on the video, until a giraffe gets pissed off, swings its head in a big circular arc, and hits this guy literally like a wrecking ball.
Yeah.
And he went airborne. I mean, it was like, holy shit balls.
Well, you know, a full-grown giraffe's head weighs as much as a wrecking ball.
Oh, my God. It was like, I don't know if the person survived. Like, it is conceivable this person, when they were launched, it could have been a fatality, you know? And it's just like, you know, all these city folks that are like, oh, these cute animals. And it's like, you know.
Well, you know, right now, you know, you go to the zoo, the baby hippos and that are all the rave right now. Hippos are some of the meanest animals in nature.
Dude, hippos are psycho.
Hippos kill. God, I don't know how many people a year they kill in Africa.
Hippos kill more people than the other animals.
Oh, and apparently in I don't know, Colombia. Apparently Colombia's got an out of control hippo problem. Did you know that?
Are there hippos in South America?
There are now, because Juan Pablo Escobar had an exotic zoo, and when
I heard that
animals got loose, and now there's all these Colombians being killed by these wild hippos that are like, because apparently Colombia's climate is like super conducive to the hippo.
Yeah, it's a super hot rain. It's a rainforest.
Yeah. So I mean, so yeah. Yeah.
The only thing hippos need is water.
Yes.
And a hippo, like it's one of the few animals in nature that actually gets pissed off it will get pissed off at a person personally. Like it'll be a grudge. Like it'll want to hurt you, not because, well, it's just animals being animals. No, it's the hippo going, fuck you and the horse you rode in on, Mr. Guy in the red shirt. I am going to stomp you into the dirt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because I don't like you. And it's bizarre.
Hippos are like assholes.
It's like there'll be videos of like these hippos going after these boats.
Oh yeah.
Like, you know, they'll be like a tourist boat or like a little putt-putt boat. They're like, hey, let's go look at the hippos. All of a sudden, one of the hippos will start coming at them. And it's like, you know, and that little putt-putt boat can't go that fast. And it's like, I mean, you know, they get away from the hippo, but, I mean, they're within 20 feet. And it's like, if one thing goes sideways, that hippo will kill everybody on that boat.
Yeah. No. Yeah.
I mean, it's not like an alligator that'll grab one of you and rip your leg off and eat and drag you down. The hippo will literally kill every one of you motherfuckers on that boat. Yeah. It'll go after every one of you. It'll tear the boat in half. The hippo. I mean, I would tell you what, if I ever had a situation, like if I was in some area like, oh, hey, we're at the farm, we're setting up the range. Hey, we've got hippos now. I would shoot that motherfucker so fast. It wouldn't even get it. Yeah. Yeah.
I would shoot it, get the backhoe out, and bury it before anyone even knew I shot it.
Oh, did I tell you about the bobcats? I guess I did. I'm sure we talked about it on podcast. So we have a bunch of farmers around us, and I know there's bobcats around here, and I'm sure they're protected, but apparently the bobcat population is really back. And all these people are getting pissed off at they're all losing their goats, the bobcats.
Well, you know what? I don't have goats, and I don't want anyone shooting a bobcat on the range.
No. I mean, there's going to be no shooting of bobcats on the range, but you know, it's like what I heard in Montana and Wyoming a few years ago. there's going to be enough bitching by the farmers to the DNR that eventually the DNR in our area is going to be like, okay, limited bobcat hunt.
Okay, and you know what? The truth is, if the population gets to that point and the DNR says a limited bobcat hunt, I wouldn't mind having a mounted bobcat in the armory, one taken off the farm.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. Take one, have it mounted, put it in the armory. What the hell? Who doesn't want a freaking mounted stuffed bobcat in the armory? Every armory should have one.
Especially if it comes off your own property. So
exactly. I mean, in a case like that, yeah, but just indiscriminately shooting a bobcat because it's eating your goats, screw you. I don't have goats, and I honestly don't care if it eats your goats.
Something tells me you will not be invited to the neighborhood farmers picnic.
Well,
Marky, you can come, but Freeze needs to stay home.
Well, usually every time you have, a goat grill out, it's, there's a lot of Middle Eastern Muslims there. So, I'm okay with not being invited.
God, you had to go there.
Yeah, I did. But, everyone listening to this was thinking that.
No, I wasn't. I was thinking we're all going to be eating goat, and they're going to serve you cat food. That's what I was thinking, to be honest with you.
Well, you can be sitting there, eating goat, going, Allah Akbar.
Oh, fuck. Why does your Allah Akbar sound Indian?
I don't know. That's the best accent I could pull off right now.
And I know there's a lot of Muslims in India, but I'm just saying it sounds more Indian. So, hey, I guess you had brought this up, and everybody's talking about it, and I don't care. Roseanne, and it's like, Roseanne is nuts.
Okay, look, and let me
tell the listeners real quick what.
Okay. So Roseanne, I'm sure everyone listening has heard this. She made a snarky tweet about Valerie Jarrett. Yeah, it was really tasteless. But that's Roseanne. Roseanne is a pretty tasteless person. She has pissed off people over the years with comments, and everyone remembers her national anthem thing from the baseball game. Yeah.
See, I'll tell you what. I guarantee you, all these people that are all pissed off about Roseanne and Trump and all, they're just doing all this because of whatever. Every one of those people has forgotten that fucking event. I guarantee 99% of everybody that's coming out for Roseanne and saying this is a anti-Trump play, which it may be.
Yeah, I believe it.
They have the memory of a fucking gnat. Roseanne is a person that is uniquely offensive.
Yeah, she is.
In her own right.
But with that being said, what I was saying before is I think this is going to end up. ABC is not going to come out looking good on this because here's the problem.
Is it ABC for sure?
I'm pretty sure. I'm like 90% sure it's ABC. But look.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. She throws out a Valerie Jarrett tweet. And they immediately cancel her show, which is a pretty drastic move to actually cancel a successful show because her show was doing very well. But yet you have The View, and you have that panel of crows talking shit.
You mean the view of the panel of harpies?
Yes. Okay. They say shit far, far worse than Roseanne said in this tweet every goddamn day. And yet they're not canceling that show. So
they're not.
So that has to tell me that this is it's all about, being anti-Trump and anti-conservative. Otherwise, The View would have been canceled a long time ago, and they'd have a quote-unquote zero-tolerance policy. But obviously, they do not have a zero tolerance policy. They only have a zero tolerance policy unless you're a conservative Trump supporter.
One of these channels, I don't know if it's the same channel that owns Roseanne. I think it might be. They might own ESPN. They've apparently extended an employee contract back to Keith Olbermann. And Keith, before he was on MSNBC, a raging lunatic, he had started his career on ESPN. He's a sports guy.
Okay.
That's his area. But somebody went out just to look at the tweets that Keith Olbermann has made since Trump was elected president and grabbed like 10 or 12 of them, and they were off the fucking chain.
Look, I don't know. I haven't heard that. I don't know if it's true or not. I almost tend to lean towards it's not true, and I'll tell you why. Keith Olbermann has been exiled to this podunk, internet-only news/media outlet where he has this bullshit show that no one watches. And that guy is such a raving lunatic in the crazy crap that spews out of his mouth. Man, I can't see any mainstream ABC, NBC, MSNBC, ESPN, CNN, Fox News. Man, I can't see any legitimate or illegitimate, depending on your feelings on the organization. I can't see any of them saying, hey, you know what? I got a great idea. Let's bring old Keith back. Dude, I can't see it. That guy is nuts. He's insane. He's crazy.
Well, ESPN's had multiple issues the past few years, and Keith Olbermann, in his defense, I always have to tell the truth. People know this better than me because I'm not a big sports guy, but apparently he's a pretty talented sports commentator, reporter, historian, color guy.
Maybe at one time, but is he now?
He's a
raving lunatic, and he's doing a sports commentary and finds out a way to blame Trump for a bad play, and that's the kind of lunatic he is.
Well, let's document. Let's discuss what happened with his career. He's a well-spoken guy. He has good camera presence. He's pretty articulate. And he's pretty witty. He's sharp. Whether you agree with him or disagree with him, he's pretty quick off the tongue. And so they gave him a chance. They were like, hey, Keith, you want to come over to the anchor desk? And so he crossed over. He didn't have like 20 years of working as a true journalist. He ended up on MSNBC as a raging fucking lunatic because he really had no basis to ground himself. And once George Bush was out of office, nobody even wanted to listen to him anymore because he's so toxic. So they cut him loose. He couldn't get a job anywhere, and he ended up doing his internet shit. Well, he's trying to get back in the back to like a real job. And so he's back at ESPN. But since the time he left ESPN to today, ESPN has gone crazy mainstream left. And that's why their ratings are down. And they're the kind of people that go, hey, I have an idea. Let's bring this guy back.
Oh, man.
Because to them, he's a raging lunatic and he's a leftist. So in their mind, they're like, our ratings are sagging. We'll bring him back and maybe bring some shine back to us. They're not realizing that it's not the sports that's the problem.
See, I disagree with you. I don't think that.
They've offered him, but dude, they've hired him. I saw it a day or two ago. Yeah. I knew he was coming back.
I have not seen that. Okay. I'll have to, look. I'm not even going to take your word for it. I have to see it in person before I believe that anyone's that fucking stupid to bring him back.
Here we go. Roseanne firing cast harsh new spotlight on ESPN star Keith Olbermann's offensive vulgar tweets. Let me see here. Where is he? Let's look at his employment history. Sports, political, sports broadcasting. Let's go to the modern one. Third tenure with ESPN. Boom! On February 27, 2018, it was reported that Keith Olbermann will return to ESPN again, with his first duty being a substitute announcer on something called PTI. So whatever that is. So, yeah. Oh yeah. He's. Well, I don't watch. You don't watch ESPN. I know you don't watch ESPN. So, yeah. I mean, it's it's like. Well, okay. It's going to be interesting.
I'm going to bring him back for this show, PTI, whatever that is. I have no clue. Let's see how long.
We'll see how long it lasts. I have a public service announcement I want to make to our listeners. This came from the FBI. And I know there's probably some of our listeners right there like, I don't give a fuck what the FBI wants. But the FBI has issued a security bulletin. They are recommending that every U.S. household that has internet, obviously, that they have a router in their house, that they reset their routers. And if you have multiple routers, or you're doing a dual router system for a larger footprint or whatever, that you turn all the routers off sequentially, 1, 2, 3, 4, then turn them all back on. Because apparently there's some malware that the Russians have put out that have infected a fuck ton of routers. And it's so bad, it's caused the U.S. government to they're doing some kind of retaliation against the Russian government over this particular thing. So you and I had not talked about it. I've reset the routers in the armory. So when you're at your house, unplug your fucking router.
No, I rebooted my router last week.
Okay. All right. Well, good. So good. You are on it. So maybe, did you get the FBI bulletin?
And that shocks you. Why?
No, I know. I didn't hear your answer, but I guess you didn't. So, I don't even know what to talk about fucking politics or any of this stuff with Trump or the spying, or it's not even FBI spied on Trump. Everybody knows it. Sure, so whatever, it is what it is.
Yeah, look, hey, look, the FBI spied on Trump. There's no Russian collusion. It's, they spent year and a half now, wasting millions of dollars over bullshit. And, they used to call John Gotti the Teflon Don because nothing sticks. Well, we're just going to start calling Trump the Teflon Don.
Man, you're not kidding.
I'm serious.
That dude.
No matter what they try to get him with, it doesn't work. And
yeah.
And the difference between Trump and Gotti is it doesn't work with Trump mainly because he didn't do it. With Gotti, he did. He was just, hard to pin down,
Trump does not go through life pretending to be an angel.
No.
So he's like, oh my God, Donald Trump, insert negative thing here. It's like, and I'm not the Pope.
You want to know the main reason Trump has not gone down in disgrace over all this bullshit is because he's not like a mainstream politician. Any other mainstream politician would have been trying to play the denial game, find damage control, maybe apologize if they feel that's what everyone wants to hear, and they would have been looking at it from a political point of view. Donald Trump doesn't care. You make an accusation against him, he'll fight you on it. He'll be like, fuck you. I don't have nothing to lose. I'm 72 years old and I'm the president of the United States and I got billions of dollars. Kiss my ass. Hey, you know? And where other politicians are like, okay, well, let's issue an apology and let's try to explain this. He's just like, screw you. Where's my Twitter account? You know? Yeah. I mean, seriously. You know?
Yeah.
And the other thing with that is the people in D.C. that are trying to derail him, man, they don't, you know, they're like, he's not playing fair.
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Well, the truth is, he is playing fair.
Yeah. Look, the truth is, and I'm going to use a phrase a lot of people may not be aware of. It's called, there's a group in Washington that you can refer to, and it's an organization, and it's also a physical location on some level. But it is obvious to me, to the point that I'm willing to say this on a podcast, that Main Justice is directly trying to subvert the election results of the President of the United States. And at some point, either Trump's going to have to go down or Main Justice is going down. And
it's looking like Trump's not going down anytime soon.
And, you know, this goes back to the argument that you and I said before. Okay, you get rid of Trump. It's, you know what? It's just like getting rid of Obama. Okay? There's an entire group of people in this country that Obama was everything they had hoped and dreamed and wished for. They had projected stuff on Obama that wasn't even realistic. But the truth was, you were never going to impeach or get rid of or whatever you wanted to talk about doing the first black president of the United States for all kinds of political reasons. And even if you did do that, the reaction would have been open warfare in this country, because there have been entire groups of people in this country that would have said, I told you, it's a racist, sexist, bigoted, whatever country.
You think the racial divide is bad now? Oh my God.
There would have been like, imagine the Watts riots in every major city in the U.S. if they got rid of Obama. So it is what it is. Here's the thing. These assholes are so dumb. They think, you know, you get rid of Trump. Okay, fine. You get rid of him. What the fuck do you think is going to happen next? If you take away, because people have projected so much stuff on the Trump that, you know, a lot of it isn't even realistic. But they projected so much on the Trump because they're so pissed off and so disillusioned. Because that's how politics works. You elect people, people vote for people as a reaction to other stuff. And if you disenfranchise 60% of this country, I mean, you know, you'll wish, you know, this is the joke I make. You'll wish in 4 or 8 years, Alex Jones becomes president, because the reality is, if you think the Watts riots in every major city in the country is bad, imagine what happens when 60% of this country that has firearms wakes up one day and goes, Main Justice has subverted the Constitution of the United States.
Okay.
That is warfare.
So let's put this into a real world scenario. Remember the who were those clowns down there who fought off the government agency?
Waco?
No. This is just a few years back.
You're talking about, they ended up ultimately winning on pretty much every front. You're talking about the cattle guys. God damn, we've talked about them so much.
Oh, I know.
It's amazing how quickly shit goes out of your head.
Really?
Bundy's. Is it the Bundys?
Okay. Yeah, take the Bundy incident down there, where all the people gathered around with their guns and held up. What was it? The Bureau of Land Management.
Pretty much. Probably federal marshals as well, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Picture that 100 times larger in every major area in the United States. That's what it would be like. That's real world. That's a real world example of what you were talking about.
Well, let me tell you this. This is an article that was in, I think it was at the Washington Post. It was over the weekend. There were stories coming out of the FBI from mid-level and low-level FBI agents, and they actually want to come forward and blow the whistle on what's happening in Main Justice, because even the FBI is saying, like, if you talk to members of the FBI in the DC office or the Hoover building, they're saying this entire Trump, all this Trump bullshit's being run out of Main Justice. And a lot of them are talking about they would like to come forward and blow the whistle on all the illegal shit that's going on, but they don't feel that there are enough protections from the whistleblower laws to protect them. And so what will end up happening is they will trash their careers for some politician to score a political point, and then they're done and nothing will really change, because just like you and I, we had to relearn this together. Nobody's going to jail for any of this. Nope. And so they know, the FBI guys know this as well. Nobody's going to jail. Brennan's not going to jail. Comey's not going to jail. The assistant, the Sally Yates isn't going to jail. None of these fuckers are going to jail. So if nobody's going to jail, there's no real resolution, which means all these people that are low and mid-level FBI agents that know what's going on and know how long this is, they're going to get fucked. And so their argument is they want to hang back. Their argument is we need somebody that's senior or close to retirement or qualifies for retirement that can come out, blow the whistle, and still have his retirement. Yeah. There's grumblings coming out of the FBI, out of FBI agents in Washington, that they want to blow the whistle on how to control what's going on over at Main Justice. The FBI is turning on Main Justice. It's just a matter to see what happens.
Yeah,
Main Justice is who this is. If you don't know, if you're listening to this and you're like, Main Justice is the United States Department of Justice, and so Main Justice is referred to as if you're in the Justice Department and you work at the Washington offices of the Justice Department, it's where all the senior officers are for around the country, and it's also where there's a lot of liaisons out of Main Justice where they liaison with, the CIA or the NSA or the DEA, or they have all these. They have so much power that all this is being run by high-level bureaucrats in Main Justice. That's if you're looking for somebody, if you're looking for a target, look up the address for the United States Department of Justice main building in Washington, D.C., and that's the enemy. And I said that on a podcast. And at some point, if this goes crazy sideways, I'm on a list.
Dude, you're already on a list.
Oh, dude, I know. I was going to dude, I got so many lists. Yeah. Yeah, we know that's true. So,
yeah.
All right. I guess we're not going to talk about the guy that came into the emergency room saying that he fell in the shower and a shower head went up his butt. We're not going to talk about that?
Oh, man.
Maybe he did fall. But I'll tell you what. There's all these guys, and it's always mostly guys, that end up in the emergency room, and the story's always the same. I slipped and fell, and a gerbil went up my butt, or a shower head went up my butt, or a flashlight went up my butt.
I have a lot of people around me, relatives. I mean, I probably have a dozen relatives in the medical field. and I hear stories. And it's not guys. There's a lot of women's stories involved, too.
Yeah. I remember
in all fairness, mostly guys, but I've heard quite a few women's stories that kind of make you go, huh.
I'll tell you what, there was the one, I'm not going to say who told me the story, but you were present, and it's somebody, it's very close to us, and it was came out of one of the emergency rooms, and what had happened was there was a woman, and she was in a home, and maybe she was in a home, or maybe she was in an attic in her house. She was crawling around up in her attic, and she made a mistake, and she ended up falling through the floor, and she impaled herself on a vacuum cleaner.
Vacuum cleaner, yeah.
And it went. It didn't go. It went up. It went up in her, and it was like
it went up the the wahoo, and it did a lot of damage.
Yeah, I mean that woman is fucked for life.
But in all fairness,
that's the only one I've ever heard that I believed.
Yeah. Let's see. I heard doing laundry, slipped on a wet tile floor, landed on a Downy bottle, and the Downy cap just got mysteriously lodged way up inside, had to be medically removed.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that one. I just don't believe it.
No, you know what? Neither did anyone else.
Okay, all right.
But those are the kind of stories you hear,
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it was an interesting story, but it's not if you're around people in the medical profession who works either emergency rooms or ORs or EMTs or anything like that, yeah, I mean, you realize that this isn't really that uncommon.
Yeah, but I heard the one with the shower head, and like I don't know what a shower head tip. I'd be like,
well, now here's the thing. I mean, I have to say, I've got a pretty nice shower. If you can get my shower head up your butt, man, I'm doing the slow clap, man, because you are a champion.
I mean, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I don't know, like what. Maybe it's like one of those fancy shower heads that looks like ours.
Yeah. I just hope it's not one of those overhead rainfall shower heads.
Dude, I have a shower head that looks like a goddamn frying pan. I mean, I don't even know.
I mean, that's what, my shower head's not exactly small. I mean, it's like, man. It's like,
I saw that in the blotter, and I sent it over to you, and I was like, I think there's even an X-ray. If you look at the original, I believe they even showed the X-ray, and it was like, ooh, it looked like a big shower head. Like it wasn't like one of those like artsy skinny ones from like some fancy hotel in like San Jose. It was like something out of Home Depot. It was just, ooh.
Yeah.
So. Hey, we're going to end this one on a semi-positive note.
Okay.
Do you want to hear how the universe provides? You know what? I will even throw a bone to the left. How the universe provides social justice.
Okay, let's hear it.
So, in the closing days of the Obama administration, Susan Rice, who she tried to be Secretary of State, but whatever. She's the National Security Advisor, and she had written this weird email. Huh?
The Benghazi video girl.
Yeah, the Benghazi video girl. But she'd also, at the end of the Obama administration, she had written this weird email that came out. Like I think Judicial Watch got a hold of it. And so this email, she sent it to all these people. It's like her last day in the office before Trump. And basically she said, I just want everybody to know that you were all told to follow the law and all standards in these in the investigation that we discussed. It was this really weird cryptic email, almost kind of like, like it was going back in time. And what it subsequently now we know and we suspected was she was intimately involved in the surveillance and the monitoring of Donald Trump and his campaign, trying to derail his campaign to get Hillary elected. That's what that email is. So this is who Susan Rice is. She's the one who came out because Hillary Clinton was sick and ill, and she couldn't come out during the Benghazi incident. So, or she wouldn't come out because she whatever. And so Susan Rice came out and said all this shit that wasn't true, and subsequently that kept her from becoming Secretary of State. But she's a good little soldier. Here is how the universe provides. It has been revealed that Susan Rice has a son at Stanford University, and it turns out that her son is a Trump supporter.
Oh, I bet their dinner conversation is fun.
I know a little bit about Susan Rice. Like, I know she, like, off the top of my head, I know she works at Brookings. Okay, tell you what, we had discussed Susan Rice in the past. She is basically either a college professor or a government servant. That's her entire career track. She bounces between think tanks and working for the government. She has a net worth right now of about $75 million. And it was one of the things where people were like, how the hell is Susan Rice worth $75 million? So anyway, her son, let me see here. I don't know if maybe her husband's white or not black. Her son looks like maybe he's mixed. But
her son basically looks like Sean King. See what I did there?
You know what? The thing is, I'm looking at his picture. Yeah, I mean, he's got blacker hair than Sean King does. Sean King has to wear his hair really short so he can have a line. But anyway.
But here's the difference between Susan Rice's son and Sean King. Susan Rice's son is really black.
Yeah. Anyway, so here, check this out. Susan Rice's son is an outspoken pro-Trump GOP leader at Stanford, one of Stanford University's most vocal conservative leaders, who is determined to, quote, make Stanford great again, is the son of controversial Obama administration official Susan Rice. John David Rice Cameron, he hyphenates his last name because, hey, he still comes from a liberal family. You got to hyphenate that shit. So John
here's the thing. You when you go into the real world after college, you need mommy and daddy creds.
Yeah, John David Rice Cameron, 20, told Fox News on Wednesday that the Tea Party movement inspired him to move away from his parents' politics and become a conservative. Think about that. The Tea Party happened during the Obama administration. Rice was one of the Obama administration's most unpopular officials among conservatives and Republicans because of her attempt as U.S. ambassador to blame the 2012 terrorist attack on 2 American facilities in Benghazi, Libya, on an offensive YouTube video. Though they are polar opposites politically, the son who avidly supports President Trump and the mother, who is a diehard liberal, enjoy a solid relationship. Quote, my mother and I have a great relationship, and my mother believes strongly in the free and respectful exchange of ideas, Rice Cameron told Fox News. We disagree on most of the standard Republican-Democrat disagreements. However, we agree that America is the greatest nation the world has ever seen, and thus, we believe that America has an important role to play as a force for liberty and justice on the world stage. Okay, so back when Obama was president and everybody was going home for Christmas or Thanksgiving dinner, the Obama administration was telling all these young people that you got to go home and you got to win over your parents and you got to make the arguments. And because it was basically built into the statement, old white people, that, they need to get hip and young and cool. And Susan Rice had to go home and listen to this. That just warms the cackles of my heart. So anyway, I know I probably get more out of that than most people listening, but I love Susan Rice getting some just desserts. So, all right, you ready to wrap this one up?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
All right. This wraps up episode 98 of the John 1911 Podcast. If you want to see some pictures or headlines from some of the stuff we discuss in this podcast, you can go to our website and look under this podcast publishing at john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. And remember, it's all about shooting guns and having fun. Everybody, have a good day.
See you later.